Hello everybody, hope you're having a great day. We have wipe details in Escape from Tarkov. We found out the wipe is coming on Wednesday, June 30th at 10 a.m. Moscow time, which for Eastern time zone is 3 a.m. For Central time zone it is 2 a.m. and for Pacific it is midnight. Due to server maintenance, I don't know exactly when the wipe will be playable, but if that's all you're here for, there you go. But without that, or with that out of the way, I'm going to tell you how to get rich this wipe and how to take advantage of this wipe very early on. Before I get into that, if you would consider subscribing if you enjoy the content, because it helps me out a great deal. But I'm not going to delay any further. I'm going to tell you how to get rich this wipe, because everyone wants to get rich and everyone wants to get ahead on this wipe. So I will say I have some few tips for you, some high level tips for you, and they can be taken care of depending on how much you're going to play. And you can definitely put yourself ahead in this wipe if you can play a lot early on. So, number one thing you have to do is get to level 10. I'm going to have quest guides for all of them, so you could follow that to get to level 10. Or recommendations is just do the basic quests until you get to level 10. If you get a labs key card and you're confident in that, you could run labs in order to get better or more XP to get to level 10 faster. However, just quests. And you should get to level 10 no problem quite quickly if you're a veteran. Even if you're not a veteran, you should get to 10 reasonably fast. That's your first step. Your second step is, now this is kind of the most important stuff. You can keep doing this while you're not at level 10 even. You need to stash or put in your stash found in raid items that you can sell on the flea market that are either for quests that you can buy later on or for your hideout. These are the most high value buyer items that you can find. A lot of them can be found on interchange, on the shelves, in stashes, in the little toolboxes. Bolts go really high, screws go really high, car batteries go really high. So any of those things, there's buckets of them. I'll have on the screen all the items that you need to build your hideout. Any of these items are good. You just keep those and you keep them in your stash, and then as soon as you can flea market them, and you'll have no problem being in the 20s to 30s millions. I mean, last wipe, within the first 3 days, there were people that I played with who were at 100 million. So if that sounds like something that you want to do, this is basically the strategy. You find a loot run after you get to level 10. There's lots of them. You can go look up the bunches of runs. I can post a link to Willer's run that he did, that he used to get to 100 million in the first 3 days of the wipe. But basically, all you got to do is you got to run the back of interchange. You take everything. You don't really pay attention to it. And then you get out as fast as possible, and then you get right back in. And the beautiful part of it is once you're level 10, it doesn't matter if you're in your scav or your PMC, you just keep doing this run over and over again. Find what works best for you. Interchange and reserve work best for me. Those are the maps I'm most comfortable. Maybe you are a reserve king or a customs king. Just run those, run the stashes, find the valuable loot spawns. Every map's different. Every map has the opportunity. Shoreline, the resort area, and the village area, there's great stuff there. If you happen to get some resort keys, just run resort over and over again, because very early on it's going to be free. So use that to your advantage. You can take all of this money, and then you're going to have enough money. If you're patient enough, after about 2 weeks the price will decrease, and then you can just max out your hideout from there rather than just trying to rush it through right away. If you're patient with your quests and you don't care about getting Kappa absolutely as soon as possible, and you just wait a little bit of time and you do these loot runs, you will push yourself and give yourself an advantage for the rest of the wipe rather than having to worry about being poor most of the time when you're questing. And that might not be everyone's cup of tea, so here's some alternate strategies you can do. So instead of making money, say you're a newer person, what you can do is now you can leverage this opportunity to go to high value areas earlier on that most people won't be going to. Most of the quests are on customs early on and have a lot of kill scabs and do certain things on customs, like get the gold chain and key and blah blah blah. You know the drill, you've been here before. Most of it's on custom. So that means a lot of people probably won't be rushing Techlight. So if you have a problem finding found in raid GPUs, maybe your first few wipes or first few raids in the wipe, even if you're not even at level 10 yet, are to go find your found in raid GPUs. Or maybe you have trouble finding lions, or maybe you have trouble getting late game item on. You can use this opportunity early on to go find those items, because for the most of the time, people aren't going to be looking for a vertex in their first raid. So if you happen to find a lab's keycard, you could go get your vertex very early on. So just keep that in mind. Leverage this opportunity. Know what a lot of people are going to be doing, which is going to be running customs and questing, and do the opposite. Be patient with it. You can go find some of your late game items. You can go find some of your high value biter items and sell them, and then prepare yourself on for later on in the wipe. That's what I'm going to be doing, and I hope this helps you, because you could definitely get really rich really fast. Little bonus for you, I have some few other tips that I'm going to talk about. So besides getting rich and, you know, leveraging your opportunities to find some like GPUs, my other tips are you could remove your scabbard or your knife, whatever you prefer to call it in the game. It's called scabbard. You can remove it. So if you happen to find an axe, or if you happen to get lucky and you kill Sherman with a red rebel, or you find a raider with a sword on him, you can just alt click it on, because let's be honest, most of the time you're not killing anyone with your scabbard anyway, unless you're just hatchet running, which early on in the wipe I suppose you might be doing, but just have it empty. So if you happen to find one of those items, axes are kind of high value, you can use it and just alt click it, and then you don't have to worry about taking up slots in your bag, because it's like not really like you're going to be needing a knife. That's just me, but just a little tip that you can have. Now, another thing that you can have, or that I'm going to be doing, is you can inspect all of the items in your stash from the vendors before you even go into a single raid. This will give you enough XP to get to level 2. At level 2, you can accept the quest for mechanic, that is the Gunsmith Part 1. Once you accept that quest, you can now do the Jaeger quest, which is just go unlock Jaeger. You know, the one where you go to the plane, you pick up the thing, and now Jaeger's a vendor. You can do that as your first raid, rather than having to do a raid and get 1000 XP in it. You can actually just get enough XP by examining items in your stash and at vendors. I suggest Fence, because you can constantly refresh his inventory, and then just click the quest right away, accept it at level 2, and then you can get Jaeger on your first PMC run. That's just a suggestion. That's what I'm going to be doing. Some of those things to think about. And one last thing that's probably going to be my biggest tip for you during all of this is going to be when you're questing. I know it's like always nice to double up on quest. However, if you find one of those high value items that you know is worth a lot, or you get one quest done, don't always try to stretch it out to get the min-max out of your raid. Don't always try to maximize your raids. If you happen to find a car battery within the first 5 minutes of the raid, maybe just get out with the car battery. You don't always need to have a full bag. You don't always need to have a full inventory in order to extract. You don't always need to have done every single quest you have available in order to progress in Tarkov. Sometimes baby steps is better than these big leaps and bounds that you can have the opportunity to make and get 6 quests out of the way. Because sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. And if you have 6 quests done that you all need to complete in raid or survive the raid, and then you die because you ran out of energy because you were in the raid for 40 minutes, well, guess what? Now you have to do all 6 of those quests all over again. There's a cost-benefit analysis. I'm not going to tell you how to play. I'm just giving you some suggestions that, hey, maybe you got a quest done. maybe you should get out. You know you're close to extract. Maybe it's not worth double back. Some instances it is, but sometimes even if you get nothing done and all you do is fill up your backpack with some junk, maybe it's better just to reset rather than go back into dorms or something and have some dude camping in the corner with a shotgun waiting for you because he needs PMC. Just some food for thought, just some things to suggest or think about before you go into this wipe. That's how I'm preparing for this wipe. Please use the comments down below to discuss how you are preparing for your wipe and some of your thoughts about the wipe. These are just some of mine, and that I told you what I'm going to be doing exactly with this wipe. I'm also going to be releasing a secondary series that has every single quest on it. So if you need help with some of the quests, I will refer you to that in the future. It's going to be called the Road to Kappa series. So if you would appreciate that, and if you did appreciate this video, I would appreciate if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, because it means a lot to me. But without further ado, there's one last thing I want you to do. I want you to have a great day.